guys? Today we're going to be talking about Acolyte episode 7. And before you watch the others, before you watch this far, make sure to check out the first 6 parts of this 8-part series that I'm doing on the 8 episodes of the Acolyte, if you haven't watched the others. So today, let's get right into it. Alright guys, so it's me, Lord Sci-Fi here. And today we're going to be talking about Acolyte episode 7. So I just finished it right now. And So let's start at the beginning. The Jedi were on a mission. The 4 Jedi, Kalnaka, Torben, Indara, and Sol were on a mission to find out why the life on that planet was why there was still life on an uninhabited planet. And then they sent out, and then Torben wants to go home, but they don't go home. Then they go to, and then Sol goes out and finds that there's people here, there's kids, children, and he sneaks into their home and sees that the children are there's a cult of witches, and they're gonna go do something. And then he goes to tell the Jedi that are there, and they were gonna go, and then Indar wanted to tell the council, but she didn't tell the council. But they didn't. Then they went to go to the cult of witches and then they tested the children and the other one, and they failed the test on purpose, and stuff like that. And this episode made the Jedi seem more evil in a way, and I didn't like that, and I hate Sol now. I hate all the character Jedi in this. It's like it made it seem like those people were good and the Jedi were evil, but they weren't. And that's what that episode did. And then Sol kills their mother, and May still starts the fire, and he killed one of the witches, but the other witches died. I don't know who killed the other witches, but the other witches were dead. I don't know how the other witches died. Maybe when Indara forced inside Kalnaka's mind, it killed the other witches. Who knows? And then it looked like Sol tried to save them both, but then decided to only save Osha and May to die, and then saved Osha, and then he saved Osha, and that was it. And that was pretty much the stupidest part. And then they talked about how they were going to tell the council the truth, and how Mace started a fire and he killed her family, and that's not true. What actually happened, and it's kind of annoying about how that happened. And Acolyte episode 7 was an okay episode. It was a 5 out of 10 episode, but like it was like stupid. It completely changed it. It completely changed their backstory and how, it killed them. I swear I thought it was freaking May who killed her family, and I thought they did, and that's what I thought happened. And like they made the witch, their all powerful leader, weak, lose to one stab with the lightsaber. She couldn't do anything to defend herself. Like, wow. So when they go to Jedi, they go back to Coruscant or whatever, and that's what before it ends, they end on the ship saying May started a fire. And yeah, so yes, basically, Sol's a bad person. I don't think he is a bad person. I don't think he was supposed to be, but that's what Leslie Headland chose to do, because she's a horror. She freaking produces this show, so she chose everything. And instead of actually doing something good, she chose to make a horrible freaking backstory for May and Osha. I'll admit, I was interested in him in the first 2 episodes, but then 3 and on ruined it bits by bit. 3 sucked, and then 4 sucked, and then 5 sucks, and now 6, and then 6 sucks, and this one completely changed, and how he gave up on May and decided to save only Osha instead of saving both of them, which was something a Jedi wouldn't have done. Wow. This thing is filled with why they would make episode 3 about that, and then so that was what the lie was. Well, there was no point. I swear, Sol would have told her what happened while they were training, because they were training for years. She became Padawan and stuff like that. But they decided to write something. They decided to change up what they wrote. They're like, nah, screw what that. Let's screw what happened. How it was all May's fault. Let's make it. And they just change. We screw the backstory that we already made. Let's just change it. Let's just change it to so everybody hates it. That's basically their mindset. Like nowadays, if you say you're a Star Wars fan, that means nothing, right? You cannot go outside and say, yeah, I'm a fan of Star Wars, and that means something, right? It just means you know nothing about Star Wars, and then you completely change the story. This literally changed the Jedi in a way where the Jedi were never good people, and they weren't. The Jedi weren't good, and that made it seem like that. I don't know why people write these things where they change characters that are already supposed to be in a certain way, who are supposed to live by a certain code and live in a way. The Jedi were always like that. The Jedi were always like that, and that's how the Jedi were, and they just didn't go with it that way. The Jedi were not like that, and the Jedi changed, and it's like, you cannot, it's like, nobody's learned from their mistakes. You cannot change a character, you cannot change the Jedi either. What the Jedi stand for is what they stand for. People disagree, yes, but they're still Jedi. They don't do horrible things, right? The Jedi are supposed to be good. But Leslie Headland decides to change it. They're all like, screw this. We don't care about the Jedi anymore. We only care about making money and all that stupid stuff. Right? Yeah, money's great. I don't care. But like it's a story. If you want to make money, make sure the story is actually good. Because people hate Disney for Star Wars. People are starting to say it can never be fixed. People are wondering if Star Wars can never be fixed now. People are thinking it can't be. People think the franchise is dead. And that it was because these people cannot write a good story, and that's their fault. Disney still has Kathleen Kennedy working for them, and they have Leslie Headland freaking writing a shit show where I'm like, bro, this is not what's supposed to happen. This is not what's supposed to happen. The Jedi would not stand for this. They would have gotten kicked out of the Order for what they did. But no, they stayed into the Jedi, and I'm gonna watch episode 8 and finish this show, but I'm telling you, this is not Star Wars. Maybe it's a witch show. Maybe this show is a witch show. If you watch this and you've never watched Star Wars before, then maybe to you this could be a good show for not about Star Wars. This should not be about Jedi or Sith or any of that crap. Right? This is not. I do not recommend this to people who love Star Wars, who love George Lucas Star Wars, who love George Lucas original 6 movies. If you love that, do not watch this, because this will ruin it for you. It's already ruining Star Wars for me. Okay? So, yeah, that's everything I gotta say about this. This is worse. It's a 1 out of... Dude, this is like a 1 out of 10 episode, bro. It really changed a soul and what the Jedi stood for. They changed the entire Star Wars saga. The fate of the Jedi should have happened now, and it doesn't make sense. So I'll see you guys next one. Peace. Like and subscribe.